the way we live. This is like the title of the unit 2. So unit 2 is just talking about for example, how to ask about the town, how to ask about nationality, how to ask about occupation, which is really like, okay, it is the same when you how to get information from others. So if you see here in the starter, you find like flags of the countries. Okay, so just ask about putting for example, the countries, okay, under the flags. So this is really is not important, but the most important is like how to know the name of the country with the nationality. For example, Iraq, Iraqi, okay, Egypt, Egyptian, Canada, okay, Canadian, okay. So these really are important that you know the nationality with the name of the countries. Okay, so if you look to the whole chapter, it's just talk about the way the people they live. Maybe if they live like in their home country. What's mean home country? Home country, what actually, well, the country that they are born in. Okay, but the other country, which is we call them like immigrants. What's mean immigrants? Immigrants are the people who move to another country to be as a permanent residence. يعني اللي يعيشون ببلدان أخرى حتى يكونون يكونون بعدها يكونون من ضمن سكان هذا البلد وتكون إقامتهم دائمة. Okay, so if you look here to practice here talking about yourself, okay, so basically here it's just talk about use. Okay, how do you have a car? When you use the possessive pronoun have, because have, it has two meaning. Either it is have, okay, have it is mean own, like for example, I have 3 siblings. Siblings is like brothers, okay, and sisters. Or for example, I just have my meal right now. So have here, since it's talking about myself or yourself, so use have, which is here, give us like the possessive pronoun. Like for example, I'm rich, okay, I have a Ferrari car, which is that different when you say, okay, I had my lunch. Okay, so here is give us like the meaning of eat. In Arabic we say يتناول. Okay, and should like have the verb have when it's like come with the food is all the time give us like the meal. Not like for example, I have a sandwich. No, here should you have to mention a meal. Should a meal اللي هي الوجبة. Okay, so here have should all the time, if it's give us the meaning eat اللي هي باللغة العربية يتناول, so you should come with the meal. Okay, this is the difference, and this is also one of the questions that maybe you find it in many of also on page 16, if you see here getting information, as I say, like these 2 chapters is just like focus on how to get information, okay, about others, or how to talk about yourself. So if you see here how getting information, okay, usually when we ask about the town, country, village, wherever, so usually you use the question word where, but the most important that how you put the auxiliary verb. So if you have, for example, in the present time, so you have to put does, and the verb should be come after the subject, should all the time like base verb, because already does is just like work instead of it. Okay, and also if we have a past, we would did. If we have like a present perfect, we would have, and then we continue, and the verb have the same past participle. Okay, and when we talk about the family, is either yes or no question, or you ask, for example, if you want to ask about like siblings or about sons or daughters, just use how many. And to ask about occupation, okay, occupation, what's mean occupation? Is mean the job, شغل, عمل. Okay, so here to ask about what do you do, okay, for example, what do you do for your living, or what is your job? or for example, what is your job title? If this is, I'm asking another question, okay, about occupation. But if we talk about a free time holiday, of course, so we have to ask about what or where. So what does he or she or you, wherever, in her or in his or in your free time, or to ask where do you go, or for example, where do you go on holidays, or where are you planning, okay, where are you going to go on holiday. Okay, so here is where to ask about holiday. I usually use the future because usually you already put a plan for future. So that is why it is much better like to ask about where, for example, where are you going to go on holiday, or where will you go on this weekend. Okay, so this is what we use. And if we use present activity, okay, so of course for present activity, so that mean, okay, that I'm asking about right now, about the present continuous or present progressive. So here you can use, when I talk about the present activity, okay, so here I can use the present continuous. If you look to this question, what are you doing at this moment or at that moment? So here, when I have at that moment or right now, so I can use the present continuous. If not, so I can use, for example, different times, is depending on the context. And one thing I want to like to focus on, okay, is just like when you talk about the activity, I mean physical activity or even like any kind of activity, usually you use the verb go with the verb like ing, we call it gerund. For example, I go fishing, I go swimming, I go hiking, I go shopping. So usually these activities we use it with the ing. Okay, these activities, if you want to like to do it, is much better like to help you to develop your vocabulary and how to ask. Because I know you guys, like you already maybe know these vocabulary, but when we try to speak, this is gonna be the problem because you don't know how to connect words with each other. Okay, so when you listen and you do practice, this is much help like to provide a kind of like a basic foundation to develop your speaking skills. So as I said here, when we have like, for example, activities, we have to use ing. Okay, and for reading and speaking is just talk about living in the USA. So I talk about immigration. Okay, and like in this reading context, present like three characters, three people. Okay, they are from different countries. Their background are different, but they are already they came to the USA, okay, and become a citizen. So each one of them is just like explain about his background and how he arrived to the USA. Okay, so you have to read each one, okay, and then you have to get a kind of summary, like okay, where they are from, okay, or how if they are married or not, if like speak in English at the beginning or not. So this is a good idea, like to get information about reading. Okay, and this is also is focused on everyday English, making a conversation, which is most of you have a problem with. Okay, so here it is much better that you know, like when you ask a question, it is not like to respond yes or no and that's it. Okay, so we have to make more words after that, just like to give a kind of a polite way. For example, do you like this? Yes. No, of course you cannot say yes and that's it. You have, yeah, of course I enjoy it. The same thing. So even when you say, like, for example, no, you have also to give a kind of, like, for example, no, I don't, or no, I don't like it because it is whatever. Okay. So if you ask yes or no questions, just like give you a kind of rude response. So it is much better that you focus when you say no or yes after a question, yes or no. So you have to give what? To give a kind of, like, okay, either to use I don't, I can't, whatever, or you just like give, okay, I do like it, or I love it, or for example, I enjoy it. So these words is just like give us a kind of polite in your to your speaking. So we're done for this chapter one. It is the most important that you focus on reading. Okay, I want you to read it. Okay, and also to focus on how to ask about occupation, town, to ask about a place, to ask about activity, and the most important that you use the right time when you ask, and also to use the right grammar. Thank you so much.